Welcome back to The Love of Dogs. I am Arthur Benjamin, along with Farrah White and Bandit, and we're here today to talk about an amazing facility in Dallas.
Absolutely.
Do you know the SPCA is, oh, we gave it away.
No,
the
it's okay.
SPCA is 70 years old.
Isn't that amazing? It truly is amazing.
It opened, it was incorporated back on September 22nd of 1938.
How wild is that?
That is wild. Before the Second World War.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like
I'm
how
glad
many
you didn't say,
animals that's helped?
can you remember?
Can you remember? No. But think about how many animals that's helped. I mean, when you go back in history, the SPCA was actually once known as the Dallas Humane Society. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and that started back in 1888.
Civil War.
Yeah. So, I mean, so many animals have been helped. It's pretty amazing. I'm pretty proud that that was all here.
It is. I mean, that is amazing.
Yeah. And I know we have a lot of stuff to show from it.
Well, you know, the SPCA is actually made up of 2 shelters, 3 spay and neuter clinics.
Right.
The Dallas location is 70,000 square feet. The Jan Reese Jones Animal Care Facility, the Animal Care Center, opened earlier this year, and boy, it's a facility. I recently took a tour of the entire amazing facility.
Yeah.
And throughout this show, I'm going to show, and you're going to help me.
I will help you.
Because you weren't there.
I
You
wasn't
were all
there.
filming Champion.
I was filming, which is a dog movie.
And it's coming out later this year?
You know what? Yeah, actually,
So
it will be later
it's
this
coming
year.
out later this year, and everybody's going to want to see Champion, but we're going to take a tour of the building, and James Bias was just the executive director, president of the SPCA, was the most amazing host and gracious and terrific, and made me feel like I wanted to live there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good, because there's a lot of animals there, too.
I'd have to bark a lot.
Would you?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that clip.
All right.
Arthur,
Hey,
welcome to the
James.
SPCA
Nice
of
to see
Texas and our Jan Reese
Bandit.
Jones Animal Care Center. Bandit, what do you think, buddy?
Bandit and I are here to see what you got.
Well, we have a shelter full for you here today. And is it okay if Bandit hangs out in my office while I give you the tour?
That would be great. Bandit, you want to go play? Come on, let's go play, Bandit.
Let's go. So let me tell you a little bit about the lobby here. We've been in our new facility now about 7 months, and we moved in at the first of the year. And this is the Meadows Foundation main adoption lobby. This is where a lot of the action goes on with placement of pets and people trying to get educated about responsible pet ownership. And we've made this space about our mission. You're going to see images all over the place of
They're amazing.
dogs and cats that have been adopted from the SPCA, some that are connected to Meadows Foundation folks as well. And this space also allows us to be able to move the furniture around and be able to host events and create other opportunities to get people to come out to the SPCA and see what we're about.
And this is all supplies and dog food and little toys and stuff for people after they pick up their pets to go home.
As a nonprofit, we're always looking at ways to fund our programs, and so the retail component not only creates a convenience for adopters, but it also allows us to provide t-shirts and other things like that for our supporters.
Well, great.
Then this particular lobby area opens up to our
Opens
animals.
up to little animals. Hi there. Hello. How are you? Hey, what's
And-
your name?
Tater.
Hey, Tater. Hey,
And-
Tater.
We are blessed to have over 400 volunteers that give their time to the SPCA of Texas. And so this is one of our fantastic volunteers that's coming out and doing our TLC, Tender Loving Care.
And you're Cliff?
Yeah, and we have the opportunity to be able to get them socialized
That's what we're
and
doing now, yeah?
hopefully be able to find a home for them.
Well, thanks for what you do.
Well, it's very worthwhile and rewarding to see these dogs when they're adopted in particular.
So I guess you can always use additional volunteers.
We are always looking for volunteers, and so folks like Cliff and others we're open 7 days a week, and we're always looking for the people that help us make the love connection happen.
And there's the love connection.
And as you can see, our kennels are not your traditional kennels that you would think of in most shelters. We've created more room-like environments, so we have families that can come in here and actually go in and visit Fezzik, who's one of our dogs up for adoption. and they can see what the dog's personality's like.
He's 3 of your dogs up for adoption.
Again, it's an opportunity inside in a climate-controlled area to get to know and be in their environment, so you can see what their real personality's like. We also have outside areas where they can play and interact, and get acquainted rooms as well.
It's amazing the fact that there are all these dogs around and it's so quiet out here.
You know, you can have 100 dogs here and we can have a conversation without worrying about barking dogs going all over the place. They have a different air handling system, so they get more fresh air changes because they need that for health. The public can be out here and see them without having to see them through bars or a jail-like experience. And it's also less stressful for the dogs. They're impacted by smells, and so he's not getting to really smell the dog next to him. And again, you can just see that they all get blankets, they all get toys, and they get great interaction. But the missing link here is a good permanent home, and that's what we're trying to do in our adoption
Well, let's
center.
go see. So I'm looking for homes.
Okay. Some dogs are gifted with big ears.
Tell me about these little plaques on each kennel.
We have supporters that gave a contribution to the capital campaign, and as a result, they had the ability to either have a saying, an image, or both. And so we have Claire and Kurt Schwartz, for example, sponsored this particular habitat. We're on the Mary Spencer Avenue right here.
And Mary Spencer was on our show.
And so she had an opportunity to be able to, you know, kind of promote what she is passionate about in a financial way, as well as really talking about all the fosters that she has helped find homes for over the years. And when you take a look at these surfaces and the colors, part of this is the artistic part, but the colors play a scheme in how we move animals through here. If, for example...
That's what he's doing, is being artistic?
Well, he's being artistic and autistic probably, but this is Chocolate, and as you can tell, he's a Chocolate Lab Pit Bull mix. And if he were to come down with kennel cough, which is a very common ailment in shelters and vet clinics, normally you would have to isolate a dog away from the group. Since their whole group is housed in the same air-conditioned area, he can stay on the adoption floor without having to be separated, still up for adoption, and then we would look for a home that could actually treat him. So that's why we've gone with these pod styles.
It's great.
And you're going to see every kind of size. We had Fezzik, the big dog. We have this little one here that is snoozing. And again, these enclosures give them the security to feel like they don't have to be worried about somebody intruding on their territory. And the reduction of stress reduces the likelihood of breaking with disease, and again, shows us a better idea of what their personality's like.
And it makes people feel better about meeting their animals.
It does. You know, our adoption process is fairly quick. We have other dogs that have to go through rehabilitation. This particular dog had an injury to the back and was in a foster home for a while, and is now ready for a home and hopping happy.
And his name is, or her name is Dixie.
And Dixie's a great size of a dog, and you know, about 7 months of age, and has gone through just that treatment process. The hair's starting to grow back. They were thinking that maybe Dixie got underneath a car and was burned by the muffler or something like that.
Haven't you recently changed your adoption fees also?
We actually, at the beginning of this year, reduced our adoption fees by 40%. And the reason for that is we know that only about 25% of the community considers a shelter for adoption. And so we actually had to go out and fundraise so that we could lower the adoption fee. The adoption fee only covers a portion of what it really cost us to place an animal. And that lower adoption fee, we're hopeful, will encourage more people to come out. This new shelter is already bearing that out. In our first 6 months, we've placed over 40% more animals than we did at our older Dallas location.
And how do you make up that difference?
Through fundraisers. So we have our fur ball event in the fall.
That's coming up September 22nd, is that
September 22nd. You have a great memory, and hope to have you as my guest at my table there. We also have our Strut Your Mud event, which is usually in the spring, and that supports our general operations as well. In March, we're looking at our Paws Cause event, which covers our spay-neuter clinic in South Dallas. And all of those events are an opportunity for us to be able to fund our programs. Most people don't realize that each SPCA is a separate standalone organization. So we don't receive funding for operational expenses from the ASPCA in New York or any other SPCA or tax entity. So It's all through local donations and fundraising events.
But you do work cooperatively with those other organizations, like I know you do work with HSUS.
We do cooperative work with many groups, and some that are here in the North Texas area, as well as the national groups, but we all are governed independently.
Okay, name one dog that you saw.
Fezzik.
See, that would be the dog that would come and jump in your mind, but I wanted to give everybody updates. We met a lot of dogs.
Yes.
I wanted to give everybody updates. So Tater, the little dog when we first came in. Fezzik, as you said, the big mastiff at the front.
Right.
Chocolate and Dixie were the dogs basically we met.
And Dixie was the one that had the little back procedure.
Right. They think that Dixie was under a car or something, and that's a burn.
Oh.
So Dixie will have some special needs to take care of that burn,
Sure.
because get sunburn on it and stuff. So when you
Sure.
take her outside, you put sunscreen on her. But Tater, Fezzik, and Chocolate have all been adopted.
Nice.
And even Creative Chocolate, who was redecorating her kennel.
Right.
And Dixie is still recovering from her burn, and
Okay.
she's still waiting for home. So if any of you really liked seeing Dixie, who is a sweet, caring animal who had a little mishap with a burn and will need a little special extra love, she's still waiting at the SPCA for her home.
Yeah. And as far as baggage goes, a little burn on the back isn't that bad.
No, it isn't.
That was a very sweet dog. It was a good-sized dog, which is one of the things that James had mentioned. And yeah, just hopping around, little Dixie.
Let's get somebody who wants Dixie to go down, pick Dixie up this weekend.
Right, help find her a home. James had also mentioned the Furball event that's taking place on September 22nd.
Yes.
So if you'd like to get involved, all you have to do is go to spca.org/furball to find out more about this great event. Are you going to go, Arthur?
Well, I have to ask the Furball.
Ask
Hey,
Bandit.
Furball, are we going to the event?
What
I
is
guess
it?
so. We're going
Guess
to the
so.
event.
Awesome. That's going to be a good one.
So
And then-
it should be a great event. It
Oh,
should be
yeah.
a lot of fun, and it raises a lot of money and makes it possible to lower the adoption rates.
Sure.
And
And we saw that facility.
It's
I mean, it was
beautiful.
really incredible. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's one of the 2 nicest facilities I've seen recently in the country.
Nice.
Next up, we're going to visit the puppy pods.
There were some puppy pods.
There are puppy pods. Puppy pods, as you can imagine, they get a lot of puppies. And those puppies live in little pods in their own location in the facility. So here are the puppies.
This group here are puppy pod, and these are going to be puppies that are given up because they're just an unwanted litter, or in some cases they're part of a rehabilitation
So these are
program.
litter mates right here.
These are going to be litter mates here. We have Moochie and Minnie here. And we have Smith. And Smith originally came in with a litter mate named Wesson. And so Smith and Wesson, great couple. Wesson's already been adopted. And when we take a look at Smith here,
Hey, Smith.
these two puppies were actually
Come here, Smith.
kept in a kennel crate for several months. Thanks to our dedicated
so cute
staff
at all.
and volunteers, they have been able to get Smith to really come out of his shell. Wesson quickly was adopted after rehabilitation, and so we're looking for a home for this little
Hey,
sweet
this
dog.
is Smith.
And every dog and cat adopted from the SPCA is spayed or neutered. They're vaccinated, current on their shots. We do a microchip for permanent identification. And as you can tell, some of them are very eager to
go home.
Yes. I think Bandit needs a friend. What do you think?
I think Bandit travels too much to have a friend. He's got enough handling me. Are you ready to go back, Smith? Not at all, he says.
If he
says,
has a
"I'm
vote,
out."
probably not.
Go on.
There we go.
He likes his home.
Stoney actually
Hey, Stoney.
was rescued. Come here. And
Hey, Stoney.
we're surmising again another injury. Our medical staff have gone through and shaved the area, cleaned the area up. And Stoney is
Healing.
healing quite well. And Stoney has come out of his shell. Yes.
Hey, Stoney.
Not as rambunctious as Smith,
No.
but
he's
still
been
as
through a
lovable.
lot.
Yeah.
Deserves a good home.
Yeah.
Right? You deserve a good home. I'm just as friendly that way.
And the beauty of these habitats is this becomes their home. So they really are not afraid of being in their own area that they're spending their time in. And some of the kids that come in here actually look like some of the animals with tails and everything else. So.
Oh my God. What happened to you? Did you turn into a critter while you were here? You came that way?
The SPCA of Texas has critter camps in the summertime, and so these are some of our
members of the critter
students.
camp.
So, way to go. Yeah. They stay here long enough, they start looking like some of the animals we have here.
I can see that.
So.
Hey, Moochie, Smith, and Stoney have all been adopted.
Which is wonderful. Good news for all of them. And those little puppy pods were pretty cool, weren't they?
Yep.
So how did you walk out of there without another dog?
It was not easy.
It wasn't easy, was it?
It never is easy. I think we should move on to the Myron K. Martin Spay, Neuter, and Wellness Clinic. When this building was constructed, they made their wellness clinic double the size of the previous clinic in Oak Cliff.
Yeah, they really did. And you can see, I mean, this is way more than just a spay and neuter clinic. The wellness portion of it has really been added to, and they've really made a concerted effort to focus on that portion of it, which is also great.
There is incredible, I mean, everywhere. There's so much to see. Let's take a look at it.
Now, this is the Myron Martin Spay, Neuter, and Wellness Clinic, and this clinic is open to the general public for spaying and neutering services, as well as wellness care. So if they're looking for vaccinations for their pet, having a heartworm test done, getting heartworm preventative, they're really helping the community ensure that our community of pets are healthier, and that through the spay and neuter, we're reducing the number of unwanted surplus dogs and cats.
Yeah, it's great. It seems very active.
Well, and this is surgery pickup time. So in the morning, everybody's coming in, dropping off their animals for spay and neuter surgery. And then from morning until afternoon, we do the wellness work. And then this time, these are people picking up their pets. And so you're going to see a lot of cones on the neck to keep them from chewing the sutures, and people coming in getting vaccinations for their pets. Surgeons have already wrapped up surgery today, and they do surgery, spays and neuters for the general public's pets and for our shelter animals. We have one little lingering dog here who is our last surgery patient, so he's on the floor waiting.
Looks like ear surgery.
You know, he, I think, had an injury on that part of his head, and so he's recovering from the anesthesia. He'll go back into one of the recovery kennels after that. But we will hopefully do close to 10,000 spays and neuters this year at the Myron Martin Spay Neuter Clinic.
It's amazing.
We're currently part of a group initiative called Big Fix for Big D.
Yes.
And we're trying to perform collectively 12,000 spays and neuters to reduce the number of unwanted pets in the south part of Dallas.
Tell me how this works. You have 4 tables and sort of a pod here.
Well, we have one surgeon that works off of these 4 tables.
Right.
And so because of the timing that's involved in getting a dog or a cat ready for surgery, the technicians are working, and the surgeon is minimizing his time to where all he's doing is the procedure. He moves from one table, re-gloves, goes to the next table, re-gloves. And so the technicians are doing the majority of the work, and we then limit the surgeon's time to just the medical procedure to do the spay or neuter.
Well, that's how you get so many out.
It's basically dealing with kind of a high volume, high quality type of surgery.
That's great.
So Arthur, when you're in town and you have the ability to foster,
Right.
we need to sign you up as one of our volunteers to foster.
Well, I just peeked in the window. Those guys are awful cute.
They are, but they're not old enough for their spay or neuter surgery. So we're always looking for volunteers that are willing to foster these little dogs and cats until they're old enough for surgery or while they're mending. So let's take a look at
how
these.
long? How long would typically they
It could be a week to 2 weeks, and in some cases several months, just depending on what medical condition they're dealing with, or in some instances they have a behavioral issue that they're going to recover quicker in a home, and then we can reintroduce them back into the
Well, let's
shelter.
see what they look like.
Okay.
Wow.
Guys.
Hi, guys.
So we have Screech,
Screech.
Oracle, and Switch.
Screech. Screech. Screech.
And these are little ones that are just
Oracle.
needing a little extra time
Switch.
in a foster home before
Oh, they're
our surgeons
so
can
little.
go through it.
They're so little.
Oh, yes.
Hey, guys. Hi. Yeah, Screech. Oracle, Switch.
So by the end of today, these little ones should be picked up and into a foster home, and they may be in that foster home for just a few weeks. It's tougher for us during the summer months because people have vacation and they're having a difficult time committing. And even though we have over 400 volunteers, we only have a few dozen dedicated foster volunteers, so we're always looking to expand that.
Wow.
Wasn't that a great look inside the Myron K. Martin facility that's inside the SPCA? Stay right there. When we come back, we're going to go back to some videos of the SPCA and show you where all the cats hang out.
Well, welcome back to the Love of Dogs, and today we're taking you on a tour behind the scenes at the new Jan Reese-Jones facility at the SPCA of Dallas. We've seen an amazing amount of dogs.
Oh yeah, it's like a 70,000 square foot facility. And Jan Reese-Jones, isn't she friends with the Bushes?
Well, it's amazing. In this photo,
Yeah.
Bandit and I were visiting with the former president, and all he could talk about was Jan Reese-Jones and her amazing graciousness and contribution to the animals of Dallas through the SPCA and her donation there. And I don't know if anybody knows it, but he's also a artist. He paints, and he painted a picture recently that was just amazing. And in the background, in the window, is the new Jan Reese-Jones SPCA facility that he painted into the painting. And you know how he signs his paintings?
How?
43.
You're
Four.
kidding.
No, it's amazing.
That's a great story. How cool is that?
It
He
is
painted
very,
that facility.
it's very cool. Bandit wants him to paint his picture.
Right. Bandit, will you ask President Bush if he would paint your picture?
He did.
Did he? What
Didn't
did
get
he
an
say?
answer.
No, not yet. I bet it'll come up.
You know, there was another little dog there at the
Yeah?
facility, at the Jan Reese-Jones facility, named Elvis, who was
You're
recovering
kidding.
from an injured leg. Look at Elvis.
Come here, Elvis. We have a tremendous partnership with a number of veterinarians that will do medical treatment that goes beyond the scope of our veterinarians here. This is Elvis.
Hi, Elvis.
And Elvis had a fractured
Elvis.
right rear leg.
Elvis.
And thanks to the fine folks over at Highland Park Animal Hospital, they helped mend Elvis's leg.
So does Elvis sing?
You know, he probably, with some hound dog, could do something, but you're going to
Ready?
have to wear blue suede shoes. So, come here.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Elvis is trying to look cool for the kids over there.
Look over here, Elvis. Look over here. Look over there. Look over there.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to look over there, huh? You want to see the kids. Sweet dog.
Well, and you know, again, when Elvis first came in, he really didn't have much life in his eyes. He didn't wag his tail, and now he is just really taking it all in. What are you doing? Yes, yes. You ready for a home?
Elvis is ready to go home.
Come on. Let's go back in, buddy.
Come on, boy.
There we go. Good boy.
And Elvis got adopted.
Yay, Elvis. You know, there's actually several pairs of dogs that are at the SPCA also that are wanting to be adopted in pairs.
These two little dogs, I mean, one's little, one's bigger, but they are just almost twins.
Look.
And they want to stay together because they've been together their whole lives. And at the SPCA, there's a group of pairs that need to go together. And they need to find people who are looking for two dogs, not just one.
Well, and look at them. How could you separate those two? And I'm very familiar
Look at the
with
tails.
this. Yeah,
Syncopation.
they are. They are synchronized. How sweet.
I mean, they were just adorable, and they.
How many pairs do you think there are?
I would say, well, it depends on the day, but I'd say that at any one time there are at least 4 or 5 pairs that need to go and should go together.
Yeah.
I'm happy to tell you that they were also adopted.
Nikki and Sophie.
Nikki and Sophie.
Well, that's awesome.
But there are others. There are other
Oh,
pairs.
yeah, I'm sure there's other pairs now as we speak. And the SPCA also has an incredibly large cat population as well. They almost have these little apartments for cats, which is pretty cool.
Bandit didn't hear that.
Well, he's pretending he didn't hear it, but he was there with you, right?
He was, and he got to see it.
So what did you think?
I think that the cat area is an amazing area because it's more like a living room or a playroom, and the cats have, you know, little places that they can go inside, and they have posts that they can climb on, and they're in groups and together, and you know, there are twos. There are some that are in larger groups, and there are one or, you know, a couple by themselves. But cats they're social animals in a different way,
Right.
and they hang out with each other.
Well, it sounds like it's like an apartment complex.
Let's
take a
That's
look.
what it looks like.
Cat adoptions.
You know, cats, you usually think of dogs at the animal shelter, an adoption shelter, and we do see cats as well, but cats kind of get the short end of the stick in most shelters. Well, the number one source for people to acquire a cat is the cats acquire them. Most people don't consciously say, today I'm going to go get a cat. The cats will show up, they'll start feeding them, and then they acquire them, or somebody will give them a cat. So we have to go the extra mile and try to make the cats more adoptable through promotion, but also creating an environment where people get to see normal cat behavior. Cats like to climb, they like to play, they like to sun themselves, and so we've created our cat adoption area. And thanks to Susie Moss, she passed away last year. She left a gift that allowed us to be able to finish out this cat area, and she was passionate about cats, to finish out this cat area in a way that is appealing to the public as well as friendly for the cats.
They're all like little living pods with places for them to scratch and rest. And
Well, we know some cats get along with other cats, and so we have some group cat housing, and so we have those condos. They open up to the south-facing windows, so they get to kind of sun themselves, watch the cats, the birds flying around. And then we have 2-room suites for the cats that want to be by themselves. So one suite is their bathroom area, and the other suite is their bed and food area.
neat, very neat.
So don't forget the Fur Ball, September 22nd.
That's right. Big thanks to James Bias for spending so much time showing us his organization. Be sure and watch us on Facebook, and look for us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. And we'll see you next week.
www.americandogrescue.org.